Greetings, folks. This is Joe Hernandez, your Turfogram reporter. I want you to meet Militias, the 12-year-old star of the Pacific Coast turf world, where thousands of fans rise in tribute when they hear the familiar call, "Here comes Militias," as the honest old campaigner makes his move to pick up the field and get under the wire a winner. Like most people, Militias has a will of his own and insists on running a race to please himself. In fact, he trains himself on the end of a rope, an idea Lonnie Copenhaver introduced to him, and the combination of Lonnie, the rope, and Militias enjoyed a successful partnership. They, more than anyone else, popularized marathon events at the beautiful Santa Anita, Tanforan, and Hollywood Park courses. It is distance events that test the true quality in the thoroughbred. This is a point our United States Renowned Service is keenly interested in, for it is the racing and breeding of thoroughbred horses that this branch of our government service depends upon to maintain reliable mounts for our cavalry troops, border patrols, and ranger service. A fine horse must have balanced conformation, ample lung power, sturdy legs, a strong back. But most important, he must possess heart. And I know that thousands of horse lovers will agree when I say that one word, Militias, covers all these points. The old fellow has always raced in the lower claiming divisions. His record does not sparkle with fashionable victories. But when the parade of champions goes past the stand, it is Militias that receives the star's portion of applause. And strange as it may be, he seems to know he is loved by the thousands who cheer for him. You can almost hear him taunt the younger horses as he weaves his way among them to the winner's circle and stands with that proud old head erect while the judge salutes his rider. Yes, old Militias has figured out a timetable all for himself, and he plans to be at a certain point of the race at a specified time. He is content to trail behind while all the young upstarts go winging away in front. But somewheres between the half and 3/8 pole, he comes to life and makes his move. 10 to 15 or more lengths from the front end is but an ordinary handicap for the old reliable to overcome. I guess he takes a look at that timetable over at the far turn and figures he is a little late, and then he decides to finish on time, and he does in most cases. When the day comes for him to answer the call to post in horse heaven, I'm sure he will have a seat at the round table with Exterminator, Farlap, Equipoise, Colin, Regret, Black Gold, Lexington, and all the rest of the royal family of thoroughbred greats. Now, come along with me as I turn back the pages of racing and take you to historic Tanforan. It is December 1938, the final day of the season and the closing race, an event at 2 miles. Mopeco holds a track record for the distance at 3 minutes, 28 and 3/5 seconds. The crowd is anxiously awaiting the start. As usual, the fans will be running as hard as the horses themselves. 7 are in the field of this event: Fence Rider, Claspino, Militias, Senna Gray, Pompete, Rackfield, and Golden Nut. They're going into their positions. The starting gate is directly in front of the press box. They're almost ready. Senna Gray is out of position. This time they're all in a straight line. There they go. Fence Rider is going to the front. Pompete is second. Golden Nut is third. Rackfield is fourth. And Militias. At the quarter is Fence Rider in front by a length and 1/2. Pompete is second by a head. Rackfield is third by a head. Senna Gray is fourth by 10 lengths. And Golden Nut. Militias and Claspino are trailing. Out the half mile is Fence Rider in front by 2 lengths. Pompete is second by a half a length. Rackfield is third by a half a length. Senna Gray is fourth by 10 lengths, and Golden Nut is fifth. Up to 3/4 is Fence Rider in front by 2 lengths. Pompete is second by a head. Rackfield is third by 1 length. Senna Gray is fourth by 7 lengths, and Golden Nut. Militias is trailing. Into the stretch the first time is Fence Rider in front by 1 length. Rackfield is second by a head. Pompete is third by 2 lengths. Senna Gray is fourth by 7 lengths. And Golden Nut is fifth. At the end of the first mile is Fence Rider in front by 1 length. Rackfield is second by 2 lengths. Senna Gray is third by 1 length. Pompete is fourth by 1 length. And Golden Nut. Militias is moving up on the rail. At the mile and 1/4, it's Fence Rider in front by 1 length. Zenogray is second by a head. Rackfield is third by 1 length. Pompete is fourth, and Golden Nut. At the mile and 1/2, it's Fence Rider in front by 1 length. Zenogray is second by 2 lengths. Rackfield is third by 6 lengths. Pompete is fourth by 6 lengths. Golden Nut is fifth by 2 lengths, and there goes Malicious. At the far turn is Fence Rider in front by 1 length. Zenogray is second by 1 length. Rackfield is third by 2 lengths, and Malicious is fourth. Turning for home, it's Fence Rider in front by 1 length. Zenogray is second by a half length. Rackfield is third by a half length. And here comes Malicious. It's Malicious going to the front on the outside. It's Malicious in front by a half length. Fence Rider is second by 1 length. Zenogray is third by 3 lengths, and Rackfield. It's Malicious and Fence Rider head and head. It's Malicious and Fence Rider. It's Fence Rider and Malicious, and noses apart. Here they come to the line of finish, and Malicious is getting up on the outside to win it by a nose. Fence Rider is second by 3 lengths, and Zenogray was third in front of Rackfield and Pompete. And grand old Malicious again, the 2-mile champion of the United States. Ridden by Johnny Adams, Malicious established a new track record. The time for the 2 miles, 3 minutes, 28 seconds. Yes, sir, Malicious. All those youngsters down there should borrow your timetable and stay home nights while they study your schedule. Or maybe you should conduct a morning class for these young upstarts who are so indiscreet as to challenge your supremacy. Now, on behalf of Mrs. Sylvia Urban of Pasadena, California, the proud owner of Malicious, it is my pleasure to announce that after his winter appearances at Santa Anita Park, he will be retired to rest and green pastures. Mrs. Urban has arranged very comfortable, pleasant quarters for him up in the rolling hills of Flint Ridge near her home. Here, she and Malicious hold open house for his many friends and admirers. On pleasant days and Sundays, great numbers of the Malicious Marching and Chowder Club trek to his haven to pay their respects with carrots and sugar. And like the Lombards, Gables, Taylors, and Temples of picture fame, he too basks in the glory of past performances. One of his loyal rooters sends flowers to Mrs. Urban and includes fresh carrots for the king himself. Of course, all horses like nice carrots, and Malicious is no exception to the rule. He probably knows that carrots contain vitamin D, and like Popeye the Sailor Man with his spinach, Malicious watches his vitamins carefully. Ah, yes, the position of a star and public idol also has its complications and trying demands. There is the ever-present problem of fan mail, which must all be acknowledged. There is also the task of mailing pictures. In fact, it looks very much like Mrs. Urban will have to engage a social secretary to handle the situation. Jim, the mailman, enjoys his semi-weekly visits to Malicious' retreat, and they have become fast friends. The old horse seems to know that he fits into his little world. Jim always spares a few moments to visit with Malicious, and he is quite proud of their friendship. He wouldn't think of going to the store without a carrot or two. All of the fan mail reads pretty much the same, and the senders are unanimous in their request for pictures. Every day is a holiday for Malicious now, with nothing to do but eat carrots and lots of good hay and oats, visit with his friends who come to see him, or sleep all day if he cares to. In fact, to carry on like a real potentate, his slightest wish fulfilled at once. He has only to look longingly towards a paddock, and his owner or a groom will give him his liberty so he can run about and play like a horse many years his junior. Malicious, you have been a grand thoroughbred. this is your pal, Joe Hernandez, saying goodbye and wishing you many years of rest and green pasture.